And I'm really happy to see you all sitting in this room and here. And sure, thank you. Because it has been some years actually realizing this meeting. Exactly about 4 years ago, this week in San Francisco, 4 years ago, we many people had a very nice dinner and got some drunk, and then decided to do, okay, let's do the next Gemini Science meeting in Korea. And then Seoul became the very logical, very easy choice to make to host this meeting. So because you guys are in Korea, let me briefly introduce how we have been doing with the Gemini, and then what we have accomplished a little bit, and what we are trying to do to contribute to the entire Gemini community in terms of the science capability and something like that. And then let me start my talk from my personal experience of the past Gemini science meeting. So as a member of CASI, actually this one was my first Gemini science meeting back in 2015 in Toronto. And one interesting I found is that many Gemini science meetings in the past has some kind of a subtitle or attached titles. At the time, it was like a Future and Science of Gemini Observatory. So I decided to give my sort of personal view of what is CASI's future plan as far as the CASI and Gemini goes. And at the time, the title was the Gemini K, and then Korean Perspective on the Gemini Observatory. And I introduced our plan to expand our research capability in the Southern Hemisphere. And then in that regard, the Gemini comes in a very good and strong candidate to improve our research capability as a whole. So already at the time, I already suggested that we plan to be an official long-term partner of the Gemini Observatory. And then the next Gemini Science meeting in 2018, the title was, as you can see, Science and Evolution of Gemini Observatory. So at the time, I didn't give any talk, but I was very privileged to be in the site where the Gemini Observatory has gone through a very important evolution of the partnership. As you can see, at the time, we did some good ceremony. The picture was actually taken in Hilo when we were doing the ceremony in San Francisco, and the weather was perfect, as you can see here. So in our official partnership as a kind of observing program, something like that started from 2019, but we signed the agreement in 2018. So we usually say we started our official partnership with Gemini in 2018. So, and this is my third and the Gemini Science meeting here. And then one thing I found very interesting is it doesn't have any title associated with it. So it's just a Gemini Observatory Science meeting. So it's probably, we don't need to say anything about it. So it's just all about Gemini Observatory, and it will also include many new things and evolutions that we are going to see in the coming future. So let me briefly walk you through using some numbers, how we have done with the Gemini in Korea, and what we have accomplished in exploring and sharing the wonder of the universe and the Gemini itself. We use the program called the KGMT Science Program to provide time and opportunity of science doing Gemini in Korea. Actually, I coined the term, the KGMT Science Program, back in 2014. And currently it's only Gemini, but we used to have many other telescopes in addition to the Gemini. And in the future, we hope we can put GMT in here. As you can see, we have many users want to use the time, use want to time on the Gemini. And then the average of subscription rate is roughly between 2.5 to 3. Of course, there are some fluctuations, but there are many users that who want to use the time for their science. And since 2015, we have roughly 250 programs scheduled on the Gemini. And interesting thing is, almost about half of them, the programs are led by young scientists. So we have a broad future. And then we also publish papers to share the wonders that, just like you guys. And as you can see, the papers from the Gemini time on Korean time on Gemini has been increasing, but it's kind of a how do I say it? It's very stagnant for some time. So for some time, but another good news that I think is that almost 80% of all the papers published on the Korean Gemini time led by students and then postdoc, young research scientists, which means as time goes by, these people will grow up and they can teach another young generation, and we have more people who can use the Gemini and can publish papers. So I hope, I strongly believe that there are many more papers to come in the future, and then the number of papers from Korean time in Gemini will grow. Well, it's not just about the Korean time on Gemini. Korean community does not stop at the boundary of the Korean time. They just actively engage in all the research projects of the other Gemini partners. So if I do the search on the ADS about the Korean scientists' papers on the Gemini time or Gemini instrument, the number of papers is almost more than double. And the topic, as you can see, is ranging from the asteroid, comet, and star, quasar, galaxies, cosmology. It's very diverse. So we will have more papers in the diverse, various research fields in the coming years, and then I hope and I believe it will grow even more stronger. And this is just a brief list of the science results that actually made to the Gemini e-News, Gemini Archive, and a webcast, web feature or something like that over the past 5 or 6 years. As you can see, there are black holes and then asteroid and the high-Z quasars and even the young stellar object study. So the research interest in the Korean community is very diverse, and then also it comes very strong. And then the list of these topics will grow in the future. And as you already seen in the talk by John, publishing papers is not the only way of ours doing science and sharing the wonder of the universe. We make instruments. We also provide instruments for you guys to use it for your own science to all the Gemini community. iGREENS first iGREENS expedition to Gemini South started 2018. After that, it is still there. And then, as you can see from this plot, the iGREENS has been staying very popular and very productive to make good science for the entire Gemini community. And we go more further. We make one brand new instrument, iGREENS 2, and then give it to you and to us. So Gemini can keep it permanently as far as it does not break. I hope it doesn't. And then it will give another new science capability to entire Gemini community. So this is one good example of doing science and then contributing to the Gemini community one good example of Korean community. And then probably you will hear more about the Icons 2 from Hyung's talk today, and probably Ruben's talk right after mine. Well, Icons 2 is not going to be the last one that you're going to expect from Korean community as far as the instrument goes, because I think there are many guys. I think you already seen when you come in here, Korean people love making things, buildings, cars, whatever. And then instrument is not going to be an exception. And then I already know some people that were already started brooding about the idea of building a new instrument. And then usually the Gemini Observatory usually comes as a first choice for their deployment. So I don't know, I cannot bring it up any specific name of the instrument project or now, but I strongly believe that you're going to see more Korean instrument coming to Gemini in the future. Well, we publish papers and we make instrument. We give you the chance to use the nice instrument. Well, it's a good way to explore the universe and share its wonder, but it's not the last way that we do. We actually support the nice public outreach program. This is a very good example of very high resolution full dome video featuring Gemini South. And this movie, I think some of you may can see in the neighborhood view town in the planetarium. As far as I know, there are 2 or 3 planetariums already playing this nice movie. And by doing this, right, we can introduce the Gemini South in a more friendly way to the general public, and of course, the beautiful night sky in the southern hemisphere. And another thing that I'm considering, and that I think it can be productive, is use the Live from Gemini program. And currently, it may be renamed as a Live from NOAA Lab or something like that. But I have made an arrangement to try Live from Gemini program for school teachers in Korea, and the first session will start in early August. And I'm more than looking forward to hearing what they think about this program, if there's any kind of room to develop further using this kind of program. I think it will serve as a very good platform for the remote science STEM education tool. And then we'll do a great job of public outreach, introducing Gemini again. And the public special talk scheduled this Thursday also is going to be given by this Mr. Kwon Oh-cha, who is a very renowned astrophotographer, and I believe he's going to attract many general public to the talk, and will play an important role to introduce the Gemini to the Korean public. And then in the talk, he also introduced what is the COSIS role, what Korean scientists are playing in the field, in the operation and doing the science in using the Gemini. So we are publishing papers, we are making instruments, we are doing the public outreach with the Gemini. So this is a very brief summary of what we have been done in Korea. And so probably it's time to look into the future. It's my just personal view. It's going to be very short. And then maybe you may want to take a look at the COSIS network of observing facilities, mostly overseas. There are many. And then, as you can see, Gemini Observatory are key optical facilities that COSI is involved in the operation. And then Gemini will remain as a major observing facilities infrastructure. at least until GMT comes online, and hopefully even after GMT comes online, we hope we can use the Gemini Observatory in addition to the GMT. So we are going to invest, we are going to keep focusing, investing more, and we plan to expand even further our network to include some part of the Rubin and of course GMT in the future. And so we are planning to post our research staff in Chile a little bit longer time scale, so that we can expand our research collaboration in in South America. And in that process, I think CASI's partnership with the Gemini will grow and expand to include the CASI Rubin collaboration, and then it will also definitely include the US ELT program related collaboration and more. And so, which means we are going to have much more active interaction with the NOAA Aura as well as other Gemini partner countries. So that's it. And this is very brief summary of that. I think what we should do, because just 1 minute. Back in 2019, I guess, in Seattle, Jan asked me a very killing question: what Gemini should do in the future? So from that time, I started to think, brooding about what we should do to maintain the Gemini competitively in the future. And whenever I came back to the question, I think about we need to focus on what the strengths of Gemini would be. I think the strengths of Gemini is a high time resolution, high spatial resolution, and of course, highly flexible operational capability. But the real strengths of Gemini partners, real strengths of Gemini Observatory comes from the Gemini partners with diverse and backgrounds and diverse scientific interests. So all I can suggest is let's use this opportunity to define what we want to do in the next 10 years and 20 years. And then we can make our future, shape our future in the way we want. I think it's much more easier. And CASI will be actively engaged in the make the Gemini's future together. So that's it. Thank you. So we need this many words to say thank you. Yes. This is the strength of Gemini, I guess.
Thank you, Nade, for an inspirational talk overview of the transformation of Korean astronomy and a look ahead to the future. And so with that, are there any questions or comments from the audience, either in the room or online? Pat has a question. He's coming to the mic.
Thank you for that comprehensive view of the future of astronomy in Korea. Can you comment a bit about, as you look to Gemini and building new instruments and then GMT, are you thinking as a community about growing the number of astronomy positions in Korea, whether that's at CASI or at the universities? And how do you see positioning your technical and the scientific workforce, say 10 years from now, when you'll have access to all these great facilities?
As a Korean community whole, or just for CASI?
Whichever you're comfortable addressing.
Well, the size of the astronomical community in Korea has been increasing, as far as I know. But we may not have enough manpower in Korea to engage very actively and very productively with all the major international projects. And the number of international projects has been growing. So we need more good people coming to the country, Korea, to to get involved. So in that sense, well, I don't have a very good answer to your question, but we are going to, I think we need to keep investing ourselves into make Korean community more inclusive and to attract more talents. And that way, maybe we will be in a much better position to contribute more efficiently and more productively. I hope this can be a part of answer to your good question.
Are there any questions online? So in your personal opinion, in terms of scientific area, what excites you the most?
The beautiful picture of the spiral galaxies, that excites me very hard. In that case, JWST is amazing, but we can beat JWST.
Okay,
Okay,
let's give another round of applause to Nara Huang.
thank you.